Dear friends, now we will talk about evolution of supply chain management. Supply chain did not evolve overnight. It took multiple years to evolve and it is still evolving. Although there are many revolutions in supply chain management, we try to combine all these evolutions and innovations within this chapter. Now let's see brief about the history of supply chain revolution. We all know that cars have changed life of everyone. Now let's go back to the history concept of assembly line, which was invented by Henry Ford in the Ford production system, and that has been a major historical change in the manufacturing industries. Now, what is assembly line? Assembly line is simply a manufacturing process which is designed for sequential arrangement of workers, machines, tools, and parts in such a way that motion of all these will be at minimum possible extent. Now, let's go back to the Industrial Revolution. Before assembly line, most manufactured products or objects were made individually by hand by a craftsman or by an artist. A single craftsman or team of craftsmen used to create each part or each product. However, the concept of assembly line had changed an era of industrial engineering and production. In 1913, Henry Ford installed the first moving assembly line for the mass production of an entire automobile, which reduced significant time in building cars. Mass production had taken a boom in this era, and term mass production has become popularized in 1920s. Now, mass production was also referred as flow production or continuous production. Mass production is simply the production of large amount of standardized products, especially on assembly lines. One of the descriptions of mass production is the skill is built into the tool, which means that worker working on the tool may not need to have the skill, but that tool will help in manufacturing the product with the specific requirements. Now let's move little further. There was World War II, which was known as Global War, and that lasted till 1945. After Second World War, there was high need to increase production because of daily required groceries, and most part of the world was suffering from hunger. Most manufacturers gave priority to mass production to minimize unit production cost as the primary operation strategy. This was the first stage of creation of economies of scale. However, these years, 1950s and 1960s, the concept of supply chain management was unknown. During these years, new product development was very slow, logistics costs were high, and also issues concerned with purchasing activities were neglected by managers at that point of time. In the 1970s, managers became aware of the huge working process inventory on manufacturing cost. They also became aware of lack of new product development, also quality and delivery time. And that's why one of the factors of this was due to increased awareness of introduction of materials requirement planning or MRP. Due to this MRP, the focus in this period changed, and it is not just increase production with economies of scale but to increase the performance. Going ahead in 1980s, there is further development in MRP, and the term or concept of MRP2, or it is also called as manufacturing resource planning, was popularized across the globe. MRP2 was developed to expand MRP1, and MRP2 is providing additional functionalities including integration with finance, general accounting, demand forecasting for inventory requirements, and also integration of machines, labors, and capacity planning within the existing functionality of MRP1. Hence, MRP2 became more strategic and advanced version for the manufacturers around the world. In 1982, Keith Oliver, who is a British logistician and consultant, has introduced the term supply chain management to the public domain in one of his interview with a Financial Times. But the term supply chain gained more popularity in mid 1990s. And further, the term supply chain gained lots of attention in late 90s through books, articles, and its awareness in manufacturing sector was increased. During 1980s and 90s, it was observed that firms dealing with increased demands outsourced logistics activities and made sure to focus on their core competencies of manufacturing. Due to these changes, the outside specialist presented benefits to manufacturers like economic service, more productivity, and more efficiency. Therefore, many manufacturers realized an approach of building relationships and hence they went more for a relationship oriented approach with their suppliers and with their customers. They understood the benefits of cooperative relationships with the other firms in the different chain levels. In 1980s, there were the breakout years for supply chain management where manufacturers utilized just-in-time and total quality management strategies to improve quality, manufacturing efficiency and delivery times of products. In 1990s, there was an introduction of enterprise resource planning tools and this gave a boost to the evolution of supply chain management. With the information technology aspects like EDI or electronic data interchange concepts, ERP and EDI have played a vital role in connecting different channels within and outside the organization. ERP evolution has been continued in 21st century with development of more sophisticated IT systems. Moreover, the relationship of buyer and supplier in this period have gone one step forward from normal partnership to the long-term relationship and strategic alliances. Manufacturers and suppliers and retailers are now coming together with their strengths and technology to ensure competitive advantage through new product development, distribution channels, cost reduction, and many more programs. An integrated supply chain gives considerable competitive advantage to the individual actors participating in the supply chain. In 1990s, business process reengineering concepts resulted in growing interest for cost reduction and increased process efficiencies. The current era is also referred as globalization. Globalization era starts with the creation of the trade liberalization policies and the establishment of institutions like World Trade Organization and other international institutions that deal with global and regional trade policies. So in this section, we have combined all the historical happenings in single timeline starting from assembly line till the era of globalization. And one more important thing is that supply chain is still evolving with multiple new concepts which is integrating industry 4.0, it is integrating blockchain, it is integrating data analytics and machine learning within it in the next few trends. So that's all about supply chain evolution. Thank you.